So, the Ahsoka series ended like a month ago, and I thought, let me go rewatch it and then rank it on a tier list from like a Pebble to a Grandmaster or something. So, I did. So, here we go. So, welcome to the Geekheads channel. My name is Crossroads, and let's start with my list that I have already made from the worst episode, and let's go to till the best episode that I have ranked, and we will start with episode 3, Time to Fly. So, the episode itself doesn't really have anything. There's just kind of Ahsoka and Huyang, you know, and Mon Mothma, and then there's the space fight with the fighters when they finally kind of end up to Cetos, and you know, and then we have this freaking goofy ass fight scene where Ahsoka kind of just levitates on space, freaking Among Us. I think I did a meme on the reaction that I also did. So yeah. That ranks on the bottom of the list. I gave it a rock tier on my tier list, but I don't know what graphic do I have, so here we go. On the next tier, I have kind of 3 different episodes, but let's start with the weakest one, I think, which was part 2, Toil and Trouble. And in this episode, of course, it's one of the first kind of still setup episodes, so there's nothing really, but there was the middle part. On the shipyard with Chopper, Hera, and Ahsoka, and the kind of Imperial loyalists, which was kind of amazing. This might be controversial that I put it this low, you know, below some of the episodes, but I still thought that this might be the right place for the episode, because it's a setup still. So yeah, and the next episode I ranked in kind of in the same tier, on the same area, was episode number 7, Dreams and Madness. In the episode itself, Ahsoka arrives to Peridea, and then there's the minefield and the kind of fighter chase scene, and then there's also the chase scene on the planet with Ezra, Sabine, and you know, the bandits. And there were some parts of this episode that I felt were good, you know, something like important is happening also, but it also the entire thing with it might be personal agenda that I didn't really like Ezra just hanging out with those like turtle dudes, Ninja Turtles. I don't know what they were. Yeah, I really didn't like, and the whole thing was a bit sketchy, so that's why I kind of ranked it down here. Might be also a bit controversial, but here you have it. And next might be as controversial because it's the Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord, or episode or part number 8. It's still the same tier as the rest of them, and in the episode itself, I mean, it also had a great story. I mean, Thrawn on the end, you know, kind of leaves the door still open, you know, for the second season or the Filoni movie, whatever. But we had, you know, Elsbeth, Ahsoka fight, and Death Troopers, and there was one door missing on the one scene. Kind of, I mean, it was great. It's probably better than the previous 2 that I mentioned. But somehow, when I was thinking these episodes, I couldn't place it really higher. Also, the next one is going to be controversial with this. You know why I placed it higher? I don't know why, but I did. So, but these might be in the same tier as the next one. And the next one is, of course, Master and Apprentice Part 1, Episode 1. Of course, this is a setup for the entire season. It's only like character introductions and stuff. But the ending with Sabine getting stabbed is what I really didn't like. It keeps making the lightsabers like weirder, not as strong as they have been. I don't know why I placed it this high. I think it's pretty equal with the Jedi Warlord, which episode, part 8. Anyway, I think it should be maybe lower, but I'd still place it here. And the next one is episode or part number 6, Far, Far Away. There was nothing really special about this episode, but it was pretty solid. We had Thrawn, we had storytelling, we had the Great Mothers, you know. We had a bunch of stuff, but the ending with Sabine and Ezra, it was kinda not what I expected. But the rest of the episode was really kind of strong. Of course, there might be some bias here, and this might be kind of controversial also placing, but whatever, I did place it here, and I really liked the episode for some reason, and I rewatched it the same day, so that's the reason kind of why I placed it higher. And of course, the next one is part number 4, The Fallen Jedi. And this episode was, again, like full of fights. It was freaking Ahsoka, Marek, Sabine, fighting, and then there was freaking Ahsoka also fighting Baylan on the end, and that ending also like a kind of only cliffhanger ending of any episode that we had on this season. But there was also the fighting Ahsoka and Baylan kind of going at it, you know, talking at the same time and fighting. It wasn't like it wasn't just like we're just fighting because we are fighting. There was actually some story to it. And then kind of Hera appears with the kind of fighter squadron. We had amazing shots there, you know, visually amazing episode, and story-wise amazing episode. So that's why I place it here. And of course the top place goes to episode 5, part 5, The Shadow Warrior. And yeah, some people thought this wasn't as good episode as it was, in my opinion. But I think this was as cartoon episode can be, or as Clone Wars as Rebels it can be, without being animation. We had Anakin teach Ahsoka his kind of final lesson, Clone Wars flashbacks, Rex, Siege of Mandalore, which Anakin didn't recognize. It was amazing. And then we had also Jason, and there was some story with Jason and Hera kind of telling there, and then the ending with Purgles, you know, kind of story there also. And of course this episode could be arguably placed lower because there's such a crazy nostalgia factor, you know, with Anakin and Clone Wars and Rebels on this. So yeah, you could argue that this episode is wrongly placed on the tier list. But I wish there was already a second season. I don't see it coming pretty soon. There's so much series coming out. But here's the final order of these episodes on the list, whatever. Yeah, I could have gone for longer, 1.5 hours, bring my co-host Knife into this, but whatever, I decided to make it short. So here's a playlist for the rest of the Ahsoka episodes, or reactions if you haven't seen them yet, go check them out, or press my face for the channel to check them more. So yeah, see you guys next time, and until then, goodbye.